everybody, I'm James Blacklaws from JB Commercial Finance here. Another video with the fantastic Margot Clarke, sat here to my right, the Cashflow Queen, with regard to businesses and cash flow and how she can potentially help identify issues within your business. Now, Margot was telling me about a recent event when she did a presentation at a networking group about what she does and how she can help businesses and their clients with regard to identifying problems with their cash flow and how they can potentially resolve it. And after this fantastic presentation, a client came to her, or a potential client came to her, and said they were feeling the squeeze. They were having some problems, not necessarily paying their bills, but the bank balance was getting smaller and things was, the pips started to squeak a little bit. And they want a little bit of expert help with regard to identifying that before they came to someone like myself and borrowed some money. And out of that meeting, some interesting things came out. Once you had a chance to have a look at the figures, have a chance to look at the way they worked. I mean, do you want to tell us a little bit about the things you were able to identify with that particular business, Margot, which gave cause for concern with regard to their working capital?
Okay. With that particular person,
that particular client,
yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
It was the cash flow problem that prompted them to come and have a word with me.
Yeah.
So we needed to find out why the cash was a bit low. Had a look at the profit and loss, and the profit was fairly healthy. I mean, it wasn't brilliant, but it was fairly healthy. So it wasn't.
That in itself wouldn't have given a cause for concern necessarily.
No, not particularly. But the next thing that I looked at was the age of debtors. Now, what age of debtors are unpaid sales invoices.
Yeah.
I had a look at that, and it was a very large age of debtors book. So
Right.
there were a lot of invoices that he had allowed to let slip. He wasn't chasing up because he was uncomfortable. He was scared that he was going to lose his clients.
Right.
If he chased up too much. And in talking with him, I also found out that before he offered credit to some of his customers, he hadn't done his due diligence to make sure that they were able to pay.
Just for the unenlightened, an age debtor and creditor list effectively have the customers who owe you money down one side and the amount of days outstanding along the top. So maybe 7 days, 14 days, 30 days. And that's all fine if it's in the actual limits that have been agreed at the outset with the client. But we see customers can get into difficulties when it starts getting to 45, 60 and sometimes 120 days. And I'm guessing that this particular customer saw a trend in the wrong direction, if you like, with regard to the number of days they owed money. Absolutely.
I think it's something that you need to be on top of when you've decided whether or not to give payment terms. You can decide, I think the normal payment terms are about 28 days, 30 days, that tends to be standard. But you can, there's no reason why you can't shorten them to, say, 14 days or even 7-day terms. That would make sure that the cash flow is actually coming in more regularly for you. So when you have agreed your payment terms and you allow, whether it's 7 days, 14 days or 28 days to pay, you're better to, just before the payment terms are up, that you send out a little email just to prompt them. A nice email saying, just to let you know that such and such a payment, an invoice is due for payment by next Thursday or next Wednesday or whatever it is. Just a little gentle reminder, and you can leave it at that.
So this particular client, you mentioned he was afraid of upsetting his existing customers almost by chasing them. So these are customers who weren't paying him within the agreed terms, but he was actually potentially scared of upsetting them, even though they weren't paying him for the work he's done. Yeah.
I can understand why they were a bit concerned about upsetting their clients.
Yeah.
We're always worried, we always jump to the conclusion that if we annoy our clients, they're going to go elsewhere, but that's not always the case. Sometimes customers actually genuinely forget to pay because they're busy people doing lots of different things, and so the date just slips their mind and they don't think about it, and just by prompting them they can suddenly pay it.
So they may well actually appreciate the reminder and apologise, but because this chap was so scared to potentially offend them, he was the only person he was harming was himself.
Yes.
That customer may well have had significant funds sat in their bank account ready to pay him, but frankly, until they were chased for it, they thought, we'll hang on to it, he clearly doesn't need the money. Which, is very self-defeating, isn't it?
Well, it is, and if you don't get your invoices paid by your clients, then it can impact on how you pay your suppliers. So you could be missing a sale.
Yeah.
Or potentially if you wanted to invest some money in your business, you might not be able to because you don't have the funds available, or you might miss a tax bill, for example, or your VAT bill because you just don't have the cash flow. And it can be through no fault of your own, but if you're not chasing up invoices, then it is your fault.
Absolutely.
You need to chase up your invoices.
Brilliant. Okay, so that was a story about how Margot managed to identify some issues with regard to the cash flow of this particular client. We're going to do another video about credit control potentially. Could have been a reason to could have been a way to prevent this, and another couple of ways that maybe someone like myself can help a client in the same sort of circumstances trade their way out of difficulty and get things back on an even keel. I'm James Blackhorse, this is Margot Clarke. Thank you very much. Please like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you soon. Thanks very much.